This is the physiological basis of EEG waves. Okay, so now if you see the pyramidal cells or the cells in the cortex, what has happened is they have a very wide dendritic tree. This is neuron 1, this is neuron 2. Okay, if you see the dendritic tree is very big. This is the cell body and this is the axon which is running. Now why am I getting this electrical activity in these neurons is because, see now here what has happened, this portion of the dendrite is not yet stimulated, so it is not dipole, it is just hyperpolarized state, meaning see whatever the outside positive indicates, outside the dendrite it is positive, inside is negative. So you all know the resting membrane potential, inside is negative, outside is positive. So this is what is the it will be represented like this. Okay, now whenever you stimulate a particular dendrite, for example this, you can see this orange cell is nothing but it's a one of the axon terminal of some other neuron. So what has happened, this has come and stimulated this area of the dendrites. Okay, so what has happened is this part is got stimulated or it has undergone depolarization. So inside would have become positive, so outside the negative is represented here. Okay, so now we all know according to physics this becomes this current source, this becomes the current sink. So current will always move from source to sink, or it always moves from positive terminal to negative terminal, the current. Okay, so there's a current which is coming towards the cell body, which is called the hyperpolarized state, meaning when the cell body is relatively negative when compared to the dendrites which is positive, then it is called a hyperpolarized state. Now if you see here the outer portion of the dendrite is stimulated, that is why this has become negative or depolarized, but the cell body is not yet stimulated, that is your positive terminal. So current is moving away from the cell body, that is your depolarized state. So now because of this variations in the current, maybe it may be a IPSP or a EPSP, because of this variations in the flow of current, what happens is there's a different postsynaptic potentials in each neuron, right? So it's the summation of all the cortical neurons, the millions of neurons, when you record, that is what you get it as EEG. Books mention you as a dipole. Okay, what does this dipole mean is that, see now there are two poles right here, one will be positive, one is negative, one is a source, another one is a current sink, that is called as dipole. There's a two poles. Okay, so now EEG, what is EEG? It is a summation of these local potentials. So this is one potential here, this is one potential. So similarly these kind of activity will be happening in all the neurons in the cortex, right? So summation of these local potentials in the cortical neurons is what we record it as EEG. Remember, only if one or two neurons fire like this, you will not get EEG. Thousands of neurons should fire at the same time to produce EEG.